Nonograms. How many of you have come across nonograms before? Well, if you haven't, then don't worry, because I'm going to explain all in this video, but more importantly, I'm going to show you how you can make money from publishing nonogram puzzle books. Now, if you've not been here before, my name's Paul Marles and I do videos on how to make it, keep it and grow it, and that's your money I'm talking about. And if you like videos like that, then please give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button and smash that notification bell to receive notification of when I produce more videos like this. Now, I've got to admit, I'd never heard of nonograms before. It was only when I was doing research into puzzle making software that I came across these. And I did some research on Amazon and was surprised at how popular they were and how little the competition was on Amazon for these types of puzzle books. Now, they do come under a few different names other than nonograms. They're also known as hanji, pie-cross, gridlers, and also Japanese crossword puzzles. So I'm going to show you, first of all, what they are. Then we'll have a look at what the market's like and the all-important keywords and how to get those low competition keywords. And then I'll show you how to make the interiors for these types of books. So let's have a look here. So this is basically what a nonogram is. You've got this grid here. Now this is quite a large one and would be classified as probably a hard nonogram. And we're presented with what looks like graph paper with all these numbers across the top and down the side. Now these numbers represent the numbers of squares that should be coloured in or blacked out. So for instance here we've got 13. So somewhere along this row there'll be a row of 13 blacked out squares. Now on some rows you have more than one number. For example here you've got 1 and 8. So somewhere along here will be one blacked out square, then there'll be a space of one or more blank squares, and then there'll be a group of 8 squares all blacked out together. And this rule applies to the rows going across and also the columns going down. So using that information you then black out the squares and create a figure, a diagram, an image of something. And what you end up with is something that looks like this. Now, if you don't know what this is actually a cat. And from these codes, you work out the puzzle, you colour them in, and you end up, say, in this case, a picture of a cat. Now, this would be classed as quite a complicated one. So it's a 50 by 50 nonogram. But you can get much easier ones that could be 5 squares by 5 squares, which might be suitable for kids, or 10 squares by 10 squares, which are probably the more common one, easier ones that be suitable for children. But they do, go in different sizes, 10 by 10s, 20 by 20s, 25 by 20s, all sorts. So that's what they are. So let's go over to Amazon and have a look at the market and see how popular they are and what the potential profits are. So when I normally research a niche, I just put in a general search term into the search bar. In this case, nonogram puzzle books. And what I'm looking for in particular, if I'm a publisher, is what are the search numbers on Amazon? So how many come up in the search results? Because that gives an indication of the competition. So in this case, we've got here 185 results, which means the competition is quite low. And the next thing I do is then go and have a look at the books and look at the bestsellers ranks. And what I'm looking for in the top 10 or on the first page, I'm looking for 3 books or more with bestsellers ranks of less than 300,000. Because if they've got less than 300,000, it means they're making sales. And I like to follow the money. I don't like to reinvent the wheel. So if someone's making money in a particular niche, I like to go into that niche as well. So here we are. We've got, first of all, book with bestsellers rank of 55,000, 384. It's a bit high. But then we come down to 99,000, 111,000, 115,000. A few here a bit higher. But already we've got our 3 books. It's met my particular criteria. Got another one here, 51,000, 32,000. So we're looking sort of in those decent selling ones, bestsellers rank of somewhere between 30,000 and 115, 120,000. So let's pick a figure somewhere between there. Let's pick, say, 80,000. We'll be on the conservative side. So if we go over to our Amazon book sales calculator, put in 80,000 and see how many we could potentially be selling per month. And this comes up with 59 sales per month. So you're looking at around about 2 sales per day. And then what I next do is just have a look at sort of what prices these are selling for. $9.99, $5.99, $6.99, $5.99, $14.99, $12.95. These are around at the $8 mark. So let's say even if we were just going for, again, something conservative, around the $6.99 mark, we'll still be making around about $2 profit. So that would be a profit of $4 a day, so around $120 per month, which for me, that'd be pretty good because I'd add that to my overall portfolio of books and it would produce a nice income. If you're just starting out or you've produced a number of books and you're not making sales, I think you'd agree. You'd be happy with a book that's bringing in $120 per month. And that's just with one book. Just think how much you can make if you had 10, 20 of 20 books that are selling that sort of number, and you're then getting into a really good monthly income territory. And also the important thing to remember is you may go, well, actually, yeah, $120 isn't that much. But once you produce that book and it's selling month after month, the income is passive, and that's the gold standard of income, a good passive income. So you could be making $120 a month for the next 1, 2, 3, 4, whatever number of years. So the amount of work you put in initially is leveraged by the Amazon platform. So you're making sales whilst you're getting on with other things. You don't have to keep working on it. And in fact, you can then work on other books and build up that passive income. So we've established, and this is what I do, I establish that yes, this is a potentially profitable market. So now I want to find out what people are actually searching for, and that will give us our keywords. So if we know what keywords people are searching for, we can then optimize our books, target our books for those particular keywords, so that when people go and search for them using those keywords, hopefully our book, my book, your book will turn up in the search results and you will make sales. So this is what I would normally do. Now I go to Amazon.com. I make sure I've got the delivery address to an American address. In this case, I use the Phoenix postcode of 85001. No particular reason for that, it's just a number I remember. Then I'll put in a general keyword, and in this case we've got nonogram. Now this is an important bit because it gets asked every single time, and that's what category do I search in? I search in the all category, not the books category, but the all category. And if you want to know the reason for that, then I'll leave the link above to a video I recently did on that very matter. So I go to Amazon and I'll put in the general term. So in this case, nonogram, and I'll see what comes up in the Amazon suggestions. Now the reason these are so good and so valuable is that Amazon is actually telling us what people are searching for, because these are the common search terms that are put into the search bar. And then I will get a spreadsheet and I will start to put these keywords into a spreadsheet. And you'll notice I've got some grade numbers next to some of these keywords, and they're the Google search numbers per month. And this is also an indicator of the popularity of a particular keyword. Now you want to know how I get these numbers, because when you do your normal search you won't have these numbers. In fact, I've got a Chrome plugin installed which is called Keywords Everywhere, and to get these figures you need to pay $10 for 100,000 credits, and I must say 100,000 credits does last you a long time. Now I've also got another plugin installed called AMZ Suggestion Expander, and what that does is gives me these other results here on the right hand side that are also being searched for on Amazon. So the applicable ones will again go into my spreadsheet. Now things like here we've got Nonogram app. That's not applicable because that's for people that obviously are searching for an app. So I wouldn't put that into my spreadsheet. But things like Nonogram for kids would. So I'll put these keywords into a spreadsheet. I'll make a note of the monthly Google searches if they come up for a particular keyword. And then what I'll do is for each of these keywords, just do a search and see what the number of results are. And here you can see we've got 491. And again, I will enter that into a spreadsheet. And what you end up with is a list of keywords like this. And you've got the keyword in this column, you've got the Amazon search results in this next column, and the Google monthly searches where they are available. So I have a particular criteria that I'm looking for. And that criteria is for a keyword, I'm looking for the number of Amazon search results of 1,000 or less. Anything more than that tends to indicate that this is quite a competitive keyword and the chances of you ranking become less. But with search results of 1,000 or less, I've found that it's very possible to rank on the first page of Amazon, which is where you want to be. And the higher up you rank, the better. And in a lot of cases, keywords that I've been targeting with search results less than 1,000, I've managed to get to the number one position. And the number one position is actually where I think something like 40%, might be even slightly more, of the clicks come from. So if you can get that number one spot, that's great. If you can get the number 1, 2 or 3, good. Get the number 10, again, good. And if you can get on that first page, again, you've got a good chance of making a sale. But the higher you rank, the better. So the less competition, the better. So anything of 1,000 results or less means that fulfills my first criteria. Then what I do is what I've just mentioned earlier. I then go through the books, look at the bestsellers ranks. If there's 3 or more with bestsellers ranks of less than 300,000, then that would indicate to me that this is a niche that I'm going to go for, and this is a particular keyword that I'm going to target because it's got sales and the competition isn't great. So if we have a look here, first of all, ignore these sponsored ads. You'll see where it says sponsored here. Ignore those. Go to the what I call the organic search results and have a look at these bestsellers ranks. You can see here, even on the top 4, we've got this one with bestsellers rank of 111,000, 99,000, 55,000. Straight away, that says to me, yep, this is a keyword with low competition and good sales. So this would be a keyword that I would target. And then what I do is, you'll notice, as I said earlier, when you put in a keyword, you get all these other keywords come up. They go into a spreadsheet. And then I will go to the next keyword, such as Nonograms puzzle books. And I'll go and put that into the search bar as well and hit search. And again, see what the number of results are, 188. And I'll put that into the spreadsheet. And later, when I'm coming to look at those keywords that meet my criteria of the search results of less than 1,000, I'll then go and look at the bestsellers ranks. And again, if there's 3 or more in the top 10 or the first page, then it's a keyword that I will mark as good to go. And again, we can see here we've got a book, bestsellers rank 55,000. That was a sponsored one, ignore that, but we've got it down here. 55,000, 99,000, 111,000, 115,000. Yes, this would be a keyword that I would target. And actually, what I found was, in this niche, every single keyword I found had Amazon search results of less than 1,000, which means the competition for these particular keywords at the moment, until this video comes out, are low. And as I was searching for the nonogram keywords, I also came up with the Hanji keywords, the Picross keywords, the Gridless keywords, and also the Japanese crossword puzzle keywords. And again, all of them had search results of less than 1,000. Now, what I've done, you may or may not know that I have a Gumroad shop, and I've put all these keywords into an Excel file, a PDF file, and a .csv file, I've uploaded them to Gumroad. Now normally all my keywords I sell, and let's get open my Gumroad shop. So you can see here, this is my Gumroad shop. I've got all these keywords: colouring book keywords, Sudoku keywords, word search keywords, and there's also some interiors here, and I often sell them. However, the nonogram keywords, I'm going to give you them for free. So you don't need to pay anything at all. So you can just go across there, put them into your basket, purchase them for $0 and download them. And then you've got that basic list of keywords to get going with straight away. So I've done all the donkey work for you. And for, I think it's, 36 keywords. So that's, an hour or so of work of just putting in the keyword into the search bar, looking at the search results. I've done all that for you. So go across to there, start with the keywords if you're interested in getting into this niche. And I would advise seriously looking at this niche because of the low competition and the fact that they are making sales. Yes, there's not as many sales as within the activity books, such as handwriting activity books and colouring book activity colouring books, but they're very competitive. And yes, if you rank highly for those, you can make lots of sales, but the problem with those is getting the high rankings. Whereas with these nonogram books, there's an excellent chance that you could get a really good ranking and start to make sales early. So if you're just starting out on this, I think this is a good niche to get into. So now we come to the interiors. How do we create these interiors? Now, it took me quite some time to find something that would create these interiors, because you may say, well, it's easy, I could just get a grid, some graph paper and do them myself and then somehow transpose them onto a grid online. However, they also need to be tested with a computer program to make sure they're solvable and to make sure there aren't lots of other solutions to the puzzle. Now, I found this, and it's called Logtech Puzzle Maker, and it's on Softpedia. I'll leave the link down below for this, and it's free, which is good, which is important. Now, it's a Windows software, so if you've got Windows, no problem. But if you've got a Mac, you'd have to really install Windows via Boot Camp onto your MacBook, which is what I've done for when I've wanted to run Windows software. Or there's, I think, sort of an emulation software called Parallel or Parallels, which you can also use to run Windows software. So don't let the fact that you're just on a MacBook or iMac put you off. So you download this software, and when you open it, it looks like this. You're presented with this grid here, and what you can do, you can either draw something freehand, and you just fill in these square blocks by pressing your left mouse key, or you can hold it down and draw something. And you can see that this is a very simple nonogram grid, so the pictures you could produce are very simple. If you hold down the right button of your mouse, it gets rid of the block. So you can do all sorts of things. But what you can do is download your own image or import your own image. Now, you could go to somewhere like Vecteezy, and what I would suggest doing is searching for silhouette in the search bar, and you'll come across all different types of silhouette images which work very well for nonograms. So what I did was I did exactly that, and I did a cat silhouette. So what you do is you click on File, you click on Import Image, click on No for that, and here we've got the cat silhouette. So I'll just double click on that and just click on OK, because it'll say image is too large and it has to reduce it. Contains more than 8 colours, although the image is black and white. But anyway, so click on OK, and there we go. It produces this. But in order to get it into puzzle book format, we need to jump through a few hoops. The first is we need to test that this puzzle actually works. So what we do is go to Test Puzzle, and this will open another window, and we just click on Start, and it runs its computer program and just tests that this actually works. And yes, the computer test is able to solve the puzzle. Your puzzle is good to go. So close the test window now. Yes, but actually we don't want to do that, so I'm just going to open it again because we want to do something with this. So I'm going to click on no, and what we're going to do is do a screenshot of this. I'm just going to move that up a bit, and whatever sort of computer you're using, I mean, I'm on Windows, so I've got this snipping tool, and so what I'm going to do is just put my cursor top left hand corner over to left, and then just go down, highlight it all, and then I will just save as, and I'll call this something like cat nonogram. Okay, and it will save that as a PNG file. So that's our solution. This is a bit backwards. So that's our solution that we're going to be using in our puzzle book. So what we want to do now is actually download the nonogram itself. So we go to File and we go to Print Puzzle. Now you'll find that often this is ticked, this background colour, and what that does is greys out some of the squares. We don't want that, so unclick background colour. We want this selected, Microsoft Print to PDF, and click Print, and then save that to whatever file on your computer. In this case I'll call this again cat nonogram and save this as a PDF. And this is what we end up with. We've got the solution here and we've got the actual nonogram here, which is the puzzle that people are going to solve. So now we need to get these into PowerPoint, which is where I like to create my interiors for my books, or if you're on a Mac, use Keynote. So with the PNG, that's fairly simple. So I'll open up PowerNote. I've just got 2 pages here. Now page number 2 is going to be, just imagine this is the end of the book where we're going to put our solutions. And this is quite simple. All you need to do is drag that PNG file across, and that looks a bit big because you don't want one page, one solution per page. So I'm going to decrease the size of that, and you could insert and put something like cat. This is just a simple example, or you could have it as puzzle 1, whatever you decide to call it. And what as I said, I wouldn't put 1 per page because customers may think this is a bit unfair. You've put in 60 nonogram puzzles and then 60 pages of solutions. So maybe just put 2 or 4 solutions per page. So you could easily put them in a grid of 4. And that will be towards the end of the book. But at the beginning of the book, we want our nonogram puzzle. Now, when we downloaded the puzzle, or we went to print the puzzle, it downloaded as a PDF. But you can't just drag a PDF into PowerPoint or Keynote. It doesn't work. So what we need to do is open a vector editing software. Now I use Adobe Illustrator, but you could try something like Inkscape or Gravit Designer, which are free vector editing pieces of software. So I'll show you what I do in Adobe Illustrator. And it's quite simple. All you need to do is just drag your PDF, and I drag it over to the Adobe Illustrator icon and just click on the file. And it will open Adobe Illustrator, and it will open up the PDF file. I say you could have Adobe Illustrator open and just drag it across into a page. Now it says here missing fonts, find missing fonts. I'll just change those fonts to something else, Myriad Pro, and I'll put change all, done. So I've changed the font here. So and then all you need to do is just drag a bounding box over everything to highlight everything. But before we do that, I normally just delete this attribution, and I'll come to that in a moment because this is really important. But for the moment, I don't want the attribution on each nonogram. So we've got our cat silhouette. You could call it something else. We called it cat before, so we'll call this one cat. So you just drag that towards the cat, around the center mark. And then what we need to do is just put a bounding box around everything, then press Control C or Command C to copy everything. Then go to our PowerPoint and just click on the page, press Control V or Command V just to paste it in place. Now we'll just change the size of this so it's a bit bigger, and we can position this around about the center. Now you will have to take into account and give enough space to the margins. And if you want to learn more about margins, again, I'll put a link to that above so you know how much space to give. And I think with this we could actually make it even a little bit larger. So that will be one page. And then what you can do is add in more pages here and slowly build up your nonogram book using different images and images that you can make as well, that you can draw freehand, particularly the simple ones. And you can go to Google and search nonogram and get some ideas and inspirations for different types of images to produce. And what I would do is, probably a lot of the books seem to be about 100 pages. So maybe something like 70 to 80 nonograms and maybe sort of 20 pages of solutions. And I think you'd end up with a really good puzzle book, activity book there. Now, I did say about the attribution. Now, with this software, it does have an instruction manual which you download, which is a PDF file, and here it is. And I suggest very much before start using the software that you do read the instructions, and also it gives you some instructions on how to solve nonograms, so you could use that, reword it, use some different diagrams, and put that in the beginning of your book in the first 2 pages, just to explain to people how to solve these nonograms. But it tells you how the software works. Make sure, or I would advise, you read the instructions, because initially it does seem a bit complex, but it's not. It's actually very straightforward. And you may be saying, well, can I use this for commercial use? Because if we look here in the instruction book, look where it says, is every puzzle solvable? It says no. Therefore, they recommend you test every puzzle like I showed you before you give it to someone or use it for commercial things. So that, to me, would suggest that yes, you can use this software to create puzzles for commercial uses. So I actually deleted the attribution. But personally, I like to support people, companies that produce software. So at the beginning of the book, when you're doing the instructions, I would just copy and paste that attribution and just put it on one page in the book in the beginning. You could put it at the end, thanks to the people below, and just put that attribution there, or put it at the beginning when you're doing the instructions. So yes, it looks like, and I would say, and I would be happy to use this for commercial purposes. So that's it. With regards to keywords, I've left a link to the Gumroad shop down below. I've also left the link down below to this Logtech puzzler. So I think it's a good niche, low competition, profitable, and I think it would be one that could bring you in some nice money. So that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did like it, give it a thumbs up. If not, give it a thumbs down. And also hit the subscribe button, smash that notification bell. And until next time, goodbye.